Hey, welcome. You are listening to Brit Asia Radio with Hussey. In front of me now, I have an artist, one of the most renowned artists in the Desi scene. And normally I do a massive introduction, but to be honest, it's not that we're short on time, but we've got so much to talk about. So now I'm going to get straight into it. In front of me, everyone, we have Jaz Dhami in the studio.
Yo, what's good, man?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on, man.
Now, you're not going to expect this, but we've actually met before.
Oh, okay.
We've met twice before. Like once a couple years ago, but the first time was actually 10 years ago, back when you released Deku Valley.
Deku Valley, yeah.
2009, I think it was.
Where was that then?
That was at Jaz Academy. You got invited.
Oh, yeah. I was in master classes there. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. Oh, you one of the students?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so basically, I used to play Dol back in 2009. And then my Dol teacher told me that we'll be getting an artist in to have a little session with us. Yeah. Obviously, we all got gassed. Yeah. So I was properly looking forward to this. And then you came, and obviously, my family all listened to you from back in the day.
Yeah.
And then even myself was a big fan of yourself.
Man.
So when you came in, it was like, wow, this is a big moment.
Oh, sick,
anyone gets gassed when an artist comes in.
Yeah.
But that was 10 years ago now.
That was crazy, man. That was I remember it was a master class I did for your school, didn't it?
Yeah, that's
it's just in Punjabi music, yeah. That was sick, man.
You all had like a...
You know, were good, man. You know, it's crazy you mentioned that because I was mentioning it a few days ago to one of my mates that I remember I did a masterclass and I'd love to do that again, man. Because it's kind of giving back to the community and the scene, innit? Like the new boys and new girls.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you never knew who you might come across.
Yeah.
Because like, I was playing a Dol, we had like a couple of drummers, a couple of guitarists.
Yeah.
And then you was like, I think you was singing, was it?
Yeah.
Had like one big massive jam. But I just wish that we recorded it.
Oh, that would have been sick, man.
Because now it would have been sick to just see that.
Yeah.
But first of all, it's great to honestly interview you 10 years later on.
I respect, man.
You know, it's a big thing. I want to talk about, as much as we're going to go into your new single, I want to ask you about your music from 2009 when you released Deku Valley compared to now with your new single. Between then, you released 100 of songs, worked with some of the biggest producers, some of the biggest artists around. But how has your music changed within those 10 years?
I think now it's music's more like sample based. It's more when I mean sample based, it's more sequenced. You know, back in the days, well, not even back in the days, it's only like 8-9 years ago, 10 years ago, there's a lot more traditional Punjabi instruments used in tracks. But now I think people are just moving away from that. They want to hear more. They want to hear more kick drums. They want to hear more snares going off. They want to hear more 808s going off. I think that's how it's kind of changed. And I think what's happened is the Desi Dol sound isn't as prominent as it used to be. I'd say it's gone. Like it's more like Dolki led. Like that's how most of the production that's coming out now. It's more Dolki led and all about. Well, it's always been about melody. But I'd say it's more kind of Dolki led.
And how come you think that changed? What was the change that happened in that time?
I think it's natural growth, bruv. Like if you think about any type of music, there's going to be a shift in the way it sounds. You know what I mean? And I think the Dol sound, even though I think it was more of a UK thing, the Dol was, and it became more of a UK thing. But now there's music being made from different parts of the world, and people just don't want to hear the same thing. They want to hear different styles of Punjabi music, which is hence why there's so many 90s like hip hop records that are coming out in the Punjabi industry.
Yeah, of course. If you compare Munda Like Me, High Heels, big club floor fillers, compare that to now, Kiwi Dasai, you had Deria featuring Still Bangles. We'll get onto that a bit later on. What was the shifting change? Because compared to those club floor fillers, you've now gone for something a lot more melancholy, a lot more about your mood and something that you can really relate to when you're like in your feels. You get me? Yeah. So how come you changed? I
think it's not change, it's just growth in it. You know, like when you're doing something for a long period, you want to see yourself growing. You know what I mean? You don't want to see yourself doing the same thing. I think that's what I've done. Like even now, like I've done them songs like Teriya, even Give It a Sigh, even Bombay recently as well, Jarkha now as well. It's a natural growth as an artist. You want to see a difference. You want to explore different kind of sounds, and you know what I mean, a kind of like showcase yourself in a different light, and that's what these records are doing. I mean, I've done records recently that are more Punjabi sounding records that are going to be coming out. Like I've done a couple of records with The Kid, for example, and they're more like Punjabi, kind of around the Punjabi space, but thing is, I always like to experiment. Like even if you think about Deku Valley in 2009, it came out. Straight after that, like I had other records that came out, similar kind of sound, and then I had High Heels come out. That was totally different to any record I've ever done. And then I had songs like after that, I had Punjabi Bully, which is a real folk kind of record. And then I had like songs like Zulfa, Babe. Like, if I've always tried to evolve my sound. I'd never want to be like pigeonholed and being in one space and be known as like, he can only do that one thing. Like, that's probably what it is.
Do you feel like a lot of Desi artists, especially in the UK, have gone for that sound and stuck to it because they don't want to take that risk in doing something else? Because honestly, you've taken a risk by moving away from that.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, there's not many UK artists, bruv.
At the moment, it's very difficult to name. At
the moment, there's no one that's coming through. I'd say a new artist. Well, there's only one artist I think that's coming through. Is Raf Sapeda. He's dope, man. He's got a folk voice. I really like his stuff. But apart from that, I don't see any like new artists that are coming out. So a lot of the artists are either coming from India or they're coming from North America. So I think it's not that they've stuck to the sound and they're stuck in their way. It's just no one's really moving away from what it was.
Do you feel like you prefer making those kind of floor fillers or something a lot more scenty, something a lot more soulful? Because in my opinion, when I hear you, I know you're acting when you're making videos, but you just seem like you're proper in the mood when you're making those kind of scenty songs, and it suits you as well, suits that kind of soulful voice that you have. Yeah.
You know, to be honest, I prefer them vibes because it just... And not that everyone thinks I'm really sad or something, man, like, but I haven't done anything. It's nothing like that. It's just, I think I get soul from them songs, you know what I mean? From melody. I love melody. So, like, I get that. But I do love doing, like up-tempo songs. I just love doing them. But I haven't done many. Like, the songs I have done, like, they've done pretty well for me as well. Like Deku Valley, even Munda Like Me, High Heels, even Etwa did really well for me as well.
Yeah, it's true.
So, it's just, I haven't done many of them. But when I do, I want them to actually work, and they have, which has been good.
Bang.
Yeah, and they've banged. So
when you're in the studio though, how do you get in that mood, that focus to, you know, proper go into something so soulful? Because you must go in the studio sometimes and feel a proper energy, proper vibe, and then you have to go down into proper like that negative kind of feel.
And that, you know what it is, it's just, it all depends on the mood, you know. Like sometimes, like when you're in a session, you go with what you feel. You don't go with what you think you're going to make. Do you know what I mean? I think it's two different things. Back when I was making music like years ago, it was all about, I want to make a Bhangra anthem or a Bhangra song that's going to be smashing the floors. But now it's not like that. I think I've gone past that phase. It's more like, now it's like, I want to make a song that when I go in, how do I feel today? This is how I feel. And that's how I make a record. That's how the last records have come out. Like Bombay, Give Me the Gaisa, Jodka. They've just made me feel like in a certain way. Like, even Running Away with, like I did as well.
Arjun,
Even that record as well. It just, when I heard the produced Studio Pirates guys, Emma Bars, big up Emma Bars, and Viv as well. When I heard the beat and I heard the hook, I thought, I love this vibe. Let's jump on it. Felt like it. We did it, and that's what it is. That's kind of the vibe when you're making songs. You don't stick to what you know. You kind of go with the energies in the room.
Have you never thought that though? It might just be good to make like a Desi banger because you know it's probably more commercially viable. You might sell a few more records.
You know, for me, bro, it's not about selling records. You know,
glad you've said that.
Yeah, it's not about selling. It's about being true to the music. You know what I mean? That's what I've kind of been following from the beginning. I started, and I wanna go out with that as well.
Yeah, when you're listening to an artist, you buy into all about them, about what they're about and everything. And when I do listen to you, I can proper feel that kind of beautiful, kind of soulful record, that senti kind of vibe I mentioned before. I've been listening to Deria featuring Still Bangles. When I first heard that, and now you hear Still Bangles, a lot of his productions, there's a massive difference. And I never even thought you'd worked with Still Bangles until I heard that Still Bangles at the start of the song.
Yeah, that's the first time you used the tag as well.
Was that actually the first time?
I think it was.
You'd never expect it. So how did you two meet first of all?
So
you're both on different journeys, aren't you? But you both collaborated.
So he had a record called Go Down South with Chip. Yeah, and at that time my mate sent me his record. My missus sent me a record now. She was like, this artist is sick, you need to work with him. And I was just making Bhangra tunes then. And not that it's a bad thing, I love Bhangra, you know what I mean? But my mindset was just Bhangra wedding songs at that point. And when I messaged him, like, we need to meet. He goes, but I don't really make Bhangra. I make hip hop beats or rap beats. I was like, cool, man. So I met up with him, and we had like 6 sessions. Nothing happened. Like nothing at all happened. Then I had I've started touring, and then we got together after that, and that's when we made Beparvaiya after that. Yeah, so we just got in, and then Teriya happened after that. So it was just like it's just random how I met him. Like our musical paths were so different. Like even his style of music's so different to me, but he kind of wanted to make a Punjabi R&B record with me. Like and having that kind of amalgamation of English kind of lyrics as well, but then having that cool melody. So we just kind of worked. It took a couple of years, but it worked, man.
You're probably thinking now that 47's the first tune that still Bangles worked with Sidhu and had that R&B kind of urban flavour. But now, in fact, Jaz has been working on this since what? When did that get released? 2016?
2000.
And you've met him for years, obviously, before that.
Yeah, I've known Bangles for years, man.
You met Pacina as well, didn't you?
You met Pacina as well, yeah.
Sneak Bowl?
Yeah,
That was a weird one, yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, it was a weird record.
Sneak Bowl's lyrics, and is that famous song that he released, one of the most, I don't even...
Dagga da. The Sneak Bowl.
Yeah. Then hearing you afterwards is like, I don't know if that works.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
It's personal preference, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to be in that zone.
But I don't really feel it as much now as now, if I'm honest.
Yeah, Deku was probably my favourite between you.
Yeah, did you hear his Beparvaiya acoustic version was sick as well?
Yes, yeah, I'm a big fan of that as well. Again, that goes with your kind of vibe. It works with you. You mentioned that you're both on similar paths. Can I expect you to ever work with each other again? Because you're on a level together.
Yeah. You know, we came to see me like last year when I was in Chandigarh, and we spoke about it. It's just it's just timing, man. Like even like lots of people ask me about Honey. Are you gonna work with Honey again? But like them records and them energies, they just gotta align. And when they align is when records are made. And I think that's kind of how it works.
At the moment, who else are you working with? Focusing on the UK scene.
Producer-wise, I'm working with Alan Sam season 2 of my records. He did give us a case. I'm working with Amabaz. He did Jerka. He's a dope producer. He's Birmingham based as well. Collaboration-wise, I've just done a record with Nasibo Lal, which is a dope record.
Oh yeah, female vocalist.
Yeah, she's sick.
Amazing.
She's sick.
I saw that on Instagram actually yesterday.
Yeah.
She's in the studio, wasn't you?
She's dope. So I recorded her. She's dope. And then I got a record with Karan coming out, Karan Ojla, I think later on this year maybe. That's a dope record as well. Just collab. This year's about collabs. Whatever's left of the year, there's a few collabs.
With the Karen one in particular though, what kind of vibe are we expecting? I'm looking forward to that one. 2 heavy hitters on the record.
It's very different for me, but it's more like what he's kind of known for, but I've kind of delivered a folk kind of desi kind of vocal.
Yeah.
Punjabi Bolli kind of vocal is what I want to go for with it.
Yeah, do you want to work with more UK artists, producers?
I do, but there's not many, to be honest.
Are you sourcing for some? Because I know you mentioned Raf at the start.
Yeah.
I want to mention, because when I first heard him, and then obviously he's been working with Frenzy.
I think
he's probably the biggest out of the UK scene at the moment in terms of growing, upcoming artists. But I feel like there's a cycle. So you go to India, then it goes around to Toronto, Canada. And I feel like it's shifting into the UK a bit more. Do you feel like there's a lot more to come?
I hope there is, man. Seriously, I hope there is. But it's just, I think it's mad because, the UK mainstream scene and the rap scene and the whole English scene it's popping, like it's on fire. But I just wish, I hope the UK Punjabi scene has the same kind of fire as it had, man. Because as the English scene has got, because it's got, I think we've got a couple of artists that are dope. It's just going to take time. I think what's happened is the focus has shifted to India, which is why a lot of artists like me moved to India, because like the scene's there, everything's popping in India. The scene's bigger, the shows, the bigger shows, there's bigger crowds. There's the population's 1 billion people, man. Like,
yeah, of course.
You're basically, even if you get 10% of that, it's more than the rest of the world. You know what I mean, definitely. In terms of the Asian market. But what I was going to say, I think everyone's moving kind of to India, but then because I still think that the American North America scene is really different to the India scene. It's weird. There's like a real little there's a fine line with what's making it over to India. I think, and there's not many UK artists that have crossed over to India. I think I was probably the last that I know of. Well, Gurge was the last one.
It's what the great thing is that you're still on it since 2009. Even before then, obviously you've been an artist for a long time. But it's great to see that you've dipped in and you've done different things and you're still on it to this day. Because it's so hard for a British Asian guy to do it. I feel like. I want to move on to Gay Sal,
Yeah,
one of my favorite records of yours. And was that produced with Alan Sampson?
Yeah.
Was he someone who shifted your kind of musical vibe in terms of where you wanted to go? Because he's very credible as a producer.
You know what? It's mad you said that because the first record I played him, I didn't play my previous records. He heard them, but the first record I ever played him was Teria. Yeah. Okay. That's the record I played. I said, look, I've got this vibe. This is the kind of what I want to do. This is the kind of vibe. This is the direction I want to take my music. And he was like, oh, okay. Because he said like Deku Valley, all that stuff. And he was like, all right, cool, man. He goes, just come and see me in it. So we played him that. Went to see him, did a session, and then gave it a Gay Sal kind of came about. And I would say he gave me a different element. He opened up a different door that I didn't know existed inside me, which is mad.
It seemed as well from the music, from the lyrics, from everything really. Are you going to be working with him?
Yeah, man. Well? Of course, but we're still trying to work out a session and get in. Hopefully this year, man.
Would you say he's one of your favorite producers to work with? Saying that though, you worked with Steel, Dr Zeus. You haven't worked with True School. You mentioned that before.
Yeah.
But out of your favorite producer to work with in the studio, on a vibe, on a level.
I'm gonna say, you know what? It probably is. And it's because he pulled something out of me that I didn't know existed. And how? That's mad. Like, you know what? Yeah. Out of all the producers I've worked with previously, no one ever did that.
But how did you do that though? Was that because of his experience in the industry? Was that because he knew you as an artist?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah. He's understood like what I like. What it is. The one thing that he's given me, and I've noticed it more and more, he knows where my vocals sit the best, and that's really difficult. Like I think Gay Sal, like, it's funny you mentioned Gay Sal. He picked that register. He wanted me to sing in that register, in that combination of notes, in that same scale, because he knew my voice would sound, the frequencies of my voice would sound good there, and that's clever, bro. Like that's mad. No one's ever done that.
Yeah.
And because of that is why I had like that song. I had Give It a Song, and then I had Gay Sal as well.
Yeah, very similar.
Gay Sal and then Bombay as well, because even Bombay, when me and Aaron made Bombay, Alan was part of the whole production. Well, part of the kind of the melodies and stuff.
That's why they all sound. They sound like you've been on a journey.
Yeah.
When you listen to them back to back, it sounds like you've been on some kind of musical journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a beautiful journey.
Yeah. That's me just trying to find a different me.
Well, to be honest, I think you've done a perfect job, honestly, because when you're listening to them, if you listen to your discography, your vocal range is huge. Excellent. But where you sit is exactly where Alan Sampson worked with you. I feel like you've delivered that quite beautifully.
Oh, safe, man.
Like if you're feeling like in a negative in a negative space and you want to be feeling a bit more positive, a bit more in your feels, and you got to listen to your kind of music. Those 3 tracks, honestly. Man. Now we'll move on to your new single as well, Jarka. What was the making of that? Because again, you've gone for that kind of senti vibe.
Yeah, it was a cool vibe, man. You know what? How that song came about, like I basically I came across this artist Mithika Kambaria. She's from Chandigarh. Came across her from someone else's, like this one actress called Sara Gurpal. From her Insta, I heard her just singing some advert or something. I was like, I messaged her. I was like, yo, send me your details. She's like, yeah, she's from Chandigarh, and that's where I live, in Chandigarh. So I just hit her up, and she sent me like loads of different vibes that she's working on. But then she sent me like different folk vibes she's been working on. She sent me Jarka, and then I was like, yo, this sounds so sick. I just listened to her on a guitar, just that hook. I kept listening to it, and then I was like, this is so sick. And then I sent it to Emma Bars. He's sitting over there. He's looking at me saying, why are you doing this? But anyway, I sent this to him, and he was like, yo, this is sick. And then he just worked on it and sent me the drop. He did the whole production for it, and then.
Oh, so that was Amar.
Yeah. He did that.
I was gonna get onto who produced and who created that drop, because the drop's sick.
Yeah. It's dope, man. Respect. So like, then what happened was, and then I just thought, you know, I don't want to sing the female parts because it's more tailored for the female kind of like. Well, it's tailored. The words are for the female. So what I did is I had a show, I remember, in Aurangabad, I think it was, and one day I just felt inspired, just made some melodies, came up with some melodies, rang my writer, wrote the rest of the words, recorded it in my Samsung like headphones, and then boom, it was done. Like the song was done. I just sent it to, did my vocals after that, and then the song was done, man.
Again, I feel like you're on a journey, especially with that song as well. Bro, I never even knew that you produced that. Respect. Now we'll move on to also Pieces of Me came out in 2018. It's very, I think, more difficult to release an album now because I know people's mind, and they just tend to consume media very quickly, don't they? Forget about it, whatever. Can we expect another Pieces of Me? Do you feel like there's more pieces of you that you need to release on an album in the future? Or is it just singles and collaborations now?
At the moment, bro, I'm just working on like collabs and singles, man. I think there will be an album. I don't know what it would be like right now. Because I think it's just you gotta get into that zone, innit? When you make an album, I kind of want to make an album where it's not just a journey. It's like I just put bare bangers on there. That's kind of what I want to do. So it's gotta be right. So for now, I think it's just singles for now. To be honest, these 4 songs were meant to be part. Gay Sal, Give It a Sa, and Bombay, and a song called Diva that I've done. They were all meant to be part of an EP, but then I think singles was the way. So we've dropped 3 singles, and then now we've got Diva that's featuring Sama Blake. So that's gonna come out as well. Actually, that'll be out probably this year or next year. So, but there will be an album at some point. But for now, it's just singles, man.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. Even the collaboration with Sama Blake, bro. Honestly, good luck in the future. Carry on in that vibe because you're making changes. Like
respect, man.
It's sick what you're doing. It's been great speaking to you as well.
Likewise,
it's been
man.
an honor. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. Respect.